Hey guys, so meal prep is probably one of the things that I get asked most often because people don't understand how. They think it's this big complex thing. It takes a ton of time. Really, meal prepping, if you do it right and you do it consistently, it's actually going to save you a lot of time and it will become easier. So what I do first is I take an inventory of all of the food that I have in my house, basically. So then I'm not buying all kinds of food that I'm not going to be using. I base my menu off what I already have so that I can just buy staple things that I'm going to need to make recipes from. So the first thing I do is I go through my fridge, my freezer, and my pantry, and I figure out what I need or what I have already. I make a list. I don't get into nitty gritties if I have 8 apples and 4 oranges and 2 cups of kale. I just make it very general. I say, I've got all of these things. The only thing that I do get technical with is I say I have 5 chicken breasts. I have 3 fish things. I have 1 pound of ground turkey, because that'll let me know how many meals I can make out of that. And the chicken breasts, the ones that I buy, 1 chicken breast actually is 2 servings. So for every chicken breast I have, I can make 1 meal for my husband and I. So the first thing you have to do is take an inventory of what you have, which you should know from all of the crap that you threw out a couple days ago. You should have kind of gotten an idea of what's left over. The next thing I do is I go through my cookbooks, my nutrition plans, Pinterest. I get a lot of recipe ideas from, and I look at my list, and then I make a menu based on what I already have. So I make it pretty generic. So like this one, I had 1 recipe come from, actually 2 recipes come from the 21 Day Fix Extreme cookbook. I have 1 pad thai recipe that came from a plated dinner that I had a few weeks ago. And then I got a couple off of Pinterest, and then anything that's left over, I just basically say meat, veggie, starch, and I put those together. And then lunches are a little bit more flexible, I guess I'll say. You don't have to do this, but I always make different lunches for my husband and I, just because he doesn't want to eat spaghetti squash 4 days in a row, and I don't mind doing that. So I kind of make a different little menu for him and for I. And then at the bottom of this list, I put what I'm going to prep. So, for example, this week I'm going to pre-cook 2 chicken breasts. I'm going to roast spaghetti squash and sweet potatoes, and I'm going to hard-boil 8 eggs. So that I'll do on a Sunday night, just because it's going to save me so much time later on, and I won't run into, oh, I didn't prep, I don't have this ready, I don't have time to boil eggs, I don't have time to cook a potato. It's already done and cooked, and it's sitting in the fridge waiting for us to eat, so there's no excuse. So that is how I meal prep, and then I go through the recipes of what I'm going to make, and I make a list. This week, for example, I didn't have a ton. This was my grocery list for this week. You believe it? So this is really also how I save money on groceries, because I only buy what I need, and we really don't buy a lot of prepackaged processed foods anymore, which are more expensive than fresh fruits and vegetables. I buy a lot of frozen fruits and frozen vegetables this time of year, just because the fresh ones, who knows where they came from. So that is basically how I prep. To recap, inventory what you have, make a meal plan based on what your inventory already is. make your grocery list of what's left over that you need to create these meals, and then prep as much as you can on Sunday so that it's easy for you to stick to this plan during the week. So for your takeaway assignment today, I want you to post your meal plan for the week and your grocery list for the week. Obviously, it's going to be bigger and different based on, if you've got kids or husbands or brothers or sisters or whoever's living with you. It's obviously going to be a little bit different. But I want you to post what you're doing this week so that if you have any questions, we can help each other out. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.